Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a big one, building your very first website completely from scratch. Now I know, that can sound a little intimidating, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll see it's a journey anyone can start. So let's just dive right in. Have you ever been scrolling through a website and just stopped to wonder, how in the world is this even made? How do all these words and pictures and buttons just appear on my screen? It's a super common question, and honestly, asking it is the first step to creating something awesome yourself. Okay, but let's be real for a second. Let's set some expectations. I love how the source material puts it, you're not going to build the next Facebook on your first try. And that's totally fine. The goal here is to make your own simple website, and that is absolutely 100% doable. So, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 super simple steps. First, the plan. Then we build the structure. After that, we add the style. Then we add a little interactivity. And finally, the launch. It's a clear roadmap from idea to reality. Step 1, and this is so important, the plan. Before you even think about touching your keyboard, before you write a single line of code, you need a plan. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? Same thing here. So what does a website plan even look like? It's really just asking yourself a few key questions. Like, what's the point of this thing? What information do I absolutely need to include? And then you can get into the fun stuff, the vibe. What fonts feel right? What colors? How's it all going to be laid out on the page? Figuring this stuff out now saves you a massive headache later on. All right, so once we have a rough idea of our plan, it's time to talk about the tools. What are we actually going to build this with? Well, it's pretty amazing when you think about it, but pretty much the entire web, it's all built on just 3 core technologies. And if you can understand what each one does, you're well on your way. So, number 1, HTML. This is the absolute foundation. Now, this isn't a programming language like you might think. It's what's called a markup language. Its only job is to give your content structure. It tells the browser, hey, this is a heading, or this is a paragraph, or put an image right here. Think of it as the bare-bones skeleton of your website. Okay, next up, CSS. So if HTML is the skeleton, CSS is, well, it's all the style. It's the clothes, the paint color, the cool furniture. CSS takes that raw, boring structure from the HTML and makes it look good. It handles all the visuals, colors, fonts, spacing, you name it. And that brings us to the third piece of the puzzle, JavaScript. This is where things get really interesting. Unlike HTML, JavaScript is a full-on programming language. It's what breathes life into a website. It's all about making your site interactive. And this slide? Oh man, this is the perfect way to tie it all together. It's the building a house analogy, and it just clicks. So your HTML? That's the foundation in the frame of the house. The absolute must-haves, right? Then you've got your CSS. That's all the design stuff, the paint on the walls, the cool hardwood floors, the decor. And JavaScript? That's the stuff that makes the house work. It's the electricity, the plumbing, the doorbell. It's what makes the house a functional home. Okay, so we've got our plan, we know our tools. Now it's time for step 2. We're actually going to start building the frame of our house using HTML. It's time to get our hands dirty. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, with HTML, you're going to define all of your content. You're literally telling the browser, hey, this block of text is a paragraph, or this here is a list of bullet points. You'll tell it exactly where to put an image or how to organize data in a table. All right, our structure is up, but it probably looks a little bland, just black text on a white background. So now comes the really fun part, step 3, where we get to decorate with CSS and give our site some personality. And wow, does this slide show you the power of CSS or what? So on the left, that's just plain old HTML. It works, but meh. But then look at the right. With just a little bit of CSS, suddenly the title is bold, the font is different, the text has color. It instantly looks more professional and way more engaging. So if you're ever wondering, how do I make that text pop? Or how do I change the background color of a section? Well, that's exactly what CSS is for. It gives you incredible control over how everything looks and feels. Okay, so now we have a site that looks good, it's structured, it's styled, but it just kind of sits there. It's static. What if we want it to do stuff? Well, that brings us to step 4, wiring up the house with JavaScript to make it interactive. So when we say interactivity, what do we even mean? Well, we're talking about what happens when someone clicks a button. Or those cool little animations you see on a page. You can even build entire games. It's also what checks if you've entered a valid email in a form. JavaScript turns your flat page into a living, breathing application.
And just like that, you've pretty much done it. You've planned it, you've built the structure, you've styled it, and you've made it interactive. There's just one final crucial step left in our journey: the launch. It's time to share it with the world.
See, right now, all those files, your HTML, your CSS, your JavaScript, they're just sitting on your computer. No one else can see them. Publishing is just the simple act of taking those files and putting them on a special computer called a web server, which is basically a computer that's on and connected to the internet all the time. And you know what? The second you do that, something kind of magical happens. The moment your website is live on the internet, you are officially a web developer. For real. You took an idea from your head and made it a real thing that anyone in the world can see. That is a huge deal. Think about it. You've built the foundation. You get the big ideas. This isn't the end of the road. It's the very beginning. You now have the fundamental skills to start creating things on the web. So there's really only one question left to ask yourself. What will you build next?